So, welcome to the SecureDynamics TechCast. With me, I have two former guests. I have Joshua Brown, CISO at H&R Block. Welcome back, Josh.
Hey, happy to be here.
And I have Lamont Orange, a many-time past guest. Welcome back, Lamont, CISO at Netskope.
Great to be here.
So, the topic today is humans in cybersecurity, and this was really triggered by a comment that I know, Joshua, you made to a post by one of your colleagues. But the essence was really what do cybersecurity leaders have to do to really embrace the wider demographic, the gender diversity, the thought process differences within their team members, right? So insecurities, biases, skeptics, interpersonal conflict, misinterpretation, etc. And especially with cybersecurity, given its pivotal role right now, how does a dealer deal with it? The first question is, again, for Josh, you is, what tactics have you personally, and also what you have seen within the SSO community, employed to engage and bond with the uniqueness behind each team member, while at the same time helping everybody get to that shared goal?
Ashwin, it's a great question, and I think it's absolutely a critical piece. I'll go all the way back to what my base philosophy is when I'm hiring people, and it's been like this for a while. I look for two things. I look for people that are smarter than me, and I look for people that aren't sociopaths. And when I say that, inevitably I get a chuckle out of people, right? But I'm dead serious, right? Skills are changing. Technology is changing so rapidly that I don't really care what tools you know. I don't even necessarily care what certifications you have, although they do show, that demonstrates to me a seriousness of purpose, but really that's about it. Security teams often have, obviously high stress work environments. They're working shoulder to shoulder, back to back, long hours. You don't have to be best friends, but you have to have people that are serious in purpose, they care about the mission, and they care about their coworkers. And so, I think you're absolutely right. Every team I've ever been a part of is full of strong personalities, quirky individuals. I have teams throughout my past with people on the spectrum, people that come from a variety of technical and non-technical backgrounds. My background, and it was non-traditional as well. And so I think meeting people where they are, being able to clearly communicate what the vision is, what part they play in that, so that expectations are, crystal clear bidirectionally. And then I view my role as getting the hell out of the way and let people do their jobs, right? I should be the one knocking down obstacles and enabling people to to try big, bold ideas. Block has been great at pushing the importance of diversity of opinion, diversity of thought, diversity of background. We're all stronger together than we are as individuals. And so putting together a team where you recognize and celebrate those differences, I think is key to success.
Wow, Lamont, your thoughts?
Man, those are hard comments to follow up.
Can you tell it's something I've thought about before?
Yeah, man, it sounds like I said it myself because I agree with them. I think passion and purpose is definitely something that I look for in individuals that are coming aboard the team. I totally agree with you. I can teach you cybersecurity. I can teach you the next tool because the tool you learned before, they're probably obsolete anyway as you're moving to cloud structures, and we're reorganizing teams anyway. And that's, I think, echoes and really double clicks on the idea of better together and having differences of opinion, differences of thought processes and backgrounds, because that gives you that diversity, helps you innovate faster. And also when you're in security, we're not looking for the edge cases. We're looking for them plus the root cause cases. And it takes that level of diversity to see the unseen. And I think that's definitely where we need to focus on, and that's a philosophy we have at Netskope.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that seeing the unseen is a critical bit, right? Especially when you talk about diversity of approach, because what's the old saw? You hear hoofbeats and you think horses, not zebras. Like, I need a team that thinks horses, zebras, giraffes, like, dogs wearing stiletto heels. Like, you have to think about all the possibilities, because it's not just one or the other now. It's possibly more. It's two or three or four things at the same time that you've got to deal with. And so being open to have a flexibility of thought and approach is hugely important.
So one follow-up, I know Lamont, you mentioned this while you were talking, is the hiring, right? And I go back to this because it's something we in SecureDynamics now actively involved with Cyber Future Foundation and EduCause to actually look at people wanting to break into cyber. And there's a huge community of people. But the
Yeah.
number of questions we get in terms of are certifications necessary and how many things do I have to put in my resume to get past that automated resume tracking barrier to actually get to a human being, right? So I kind of look at this dissonance of, on the one hand, you're looking for diversity and you're looking for a wide variety of opinions. On the other hand, there's a very narrow path to actually get past a bot, to actually get to somebody who can actually have a conversation with, right? So thoughts on how we can break that barrier?
Well, I think one thing, it starts with the conversation. So what you show me on paper, what you show me through your ability to go and get certifications, I mean that's somewhat of a pedigree of making sure that you're well rounded and you got a good foundation for concepts. Now let's talk about how you are applying those things, because you don't have to have a job in cyber yet because you're aspiring to break in. But obviously you went to go take those certifications, so you have an idea around concepts. Talk to me how you're applying those and bettering your skill, putting that to real use. I mean, if you have, I'm sure you have computers at home if you went to take the certification. So are you, dual booting your laptop and really trying to understand the Linux languages, the kernels, and how do you even look at packets going across your home network or something like that? Talk to me about those stories. And that shows me you have that passion that I'm speaking about. And when you have that passion and that commitment combined together, and you're open-minded too, that the box is, what was the term from the Matrix, bend the spoon.
Mm-hmm.
If you can bend that spoon, I really want to talk to you, because that makes our program exciting. It gives us a different level of energy, because you're bringing in a brand new set of energy, and you're bringing in some different thought processes.
Yeah, and if you look at, what's the average number of vacancies over the last couple years in InfoSec, nationally? I mean,
1,000, right?
thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of jobs, right? We're not going to suddenly, wake up one morning and now there's more certified, qualified InfoSec professionals, right? So we have to take the role as leaders saying, okay, we're going to help build people's careers, which means we're going to have to bring some people in. They may not have any experience, right? But what are we looking for, right? We're looking for how you think about problems, how you address problems. What are you interested in doing? What is your background, right? And then, so for example, our Security Operations Center and CERT teams have developed a 10-week onboarding process, and we bring in people straight out of college. Maybe they have a cybersecurity degree, but most don't. And in 10 weeks, we know if you're going to make it or not, right? And so, I forget what one of the figures I read lately in terms of, overall, that not every hire you make is going to be a win, right? You're gonna have some misses. I think it was 1 in 7 tends to be a miss.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's minimize the amount of time that we don't have a good match, whether it's they're not a good fit for the company or the company's not a good fit for them. But let's focus on building careers and mentoring and developing talent, because we got to dig ourselves out of this hole. It's not going to solve the problem's not going to solve itself, and throwing money at it is only going to get us so far.
No, I totally agree with that. And I wanted to double click on something you said about mentoring individuals and looking at them from the standpoint of cyber in itself is an opportunity to change some of your social and economical circumstances. So you may not come to me with cybersecurity skills. You may only come to me with an open mind and willing to soak something up, and that's where that mentoring comes into play. And if you have that dedication to learn it, and again applying it, we can take you places in cyber.
Absolutely. I mean, Bertrand Russell said, you got to have an open mind, but not so open that your brains fall out. I love that quote. And I think you're absolutely right, Lamont. Come with the right attitude. Um, just one thing I'll add to that, soft skills, so critical. And with more and more people getting obsessed with, college, university, whatever they do, secondary education as it's sort of a pre-professional program. I'm pre-law, I'm pre-med, I'm, pre-business. and nobody is taking, well, I shouldn't say nobody, fewer and fewer people are investing in their communication skills. And so, I've got a lot of managers that are working with team members late at night, off hours, helping them build those soft skills. Because I tell you, out of every 10 competent engineers I have, or even excellent engineers, fewer than half of them I could put in front of an executive audience and get them to, communicate effectively. So that's a huge aspect too.
Yeah, well, I have a saying around that I use with my team that if it works for you, it probably doesn't work for everybody else. So you got to think about it. Think about how we talk about it.
I like that. I'm gonna steal that.
So one last question to both of you, which is how important is it right now in this day and age? Again, I was going to use the word post-COVID, but we're not post-COVID, but at least hopefully
this
getting
is our
out
new
of it.
normal, man. This is our
new normal. Yeah, the constantly changing new normal is a generalist more widely accepted versus a specialist in today's day and age, or we still have pen testers and IRs and SOC teams and so forth. Again, as leaders, what do you value more and why?
You want to take that one first? Oh,
I'll take a swing at it. I mean, budgets aren't infinite. People are expensive. We want to invest in the best people, but there's not we don't have an endless bench to put people on. I don't believe that security practitioners are interchangeable widgets in a lot of cases. Now, what I will say is we look to, as I'm looking to hire people now, having a background in development, I don't care what language it is, any development language, even hell, I'll take scripting, right? But as more and more of our platforms talk to each other via APIs, as more and more of our automation orchestration stuff involves, having to do custom scripting, custom coding, that as a standard skill set is becoming more valuable to me. I don't know if I'll ever hire another engineer that doesn't have some background in that. Never say never, right? But, I think that I'm a big fan of tearing down silos, and I like to stretch people outside their comfort zones. That's where growth happens. But at the same time, I don't think it is fair, especially in this DevOps world, to compare a security engineer to a developer, where a developer can work on a million different types of projects, and a security engineer may be like aces at secure network design, secure app design. So I think there's still a degree of specialization, but I like to cross-pollinate across teams and squads. I like to give people exposure, because security is miles wide, and there's lots of areas to go down. And as people advance through their careers, they may decide, I want to take a completely different direction. You won't know whether that's a good fit unless you have a chance to dip your toes in the water. And so, again, with the better together concept, like, let's get a whole bunch of difference of opinions, different viewpoints looking at things, and I think that's where we build strength as a unit, rather than trying to hire either a bunch of people that only do one thing or a bunch of people that try to do everything. I don't think either of those approaches are necessarily successful.
Lamont, take us home.
I definitely agree with you on that perspective. I think there is a place for specialization, but I think that role is shrinking over time, because we are in many different environments and we work with many different people. I actually look for generalists, believe it or not, to make that mix, because as Josh said, it's about that diversity and openness, but that generalist also may have a very portable skill that we can use in cybersecurity. For instance, a marketing person that's very interested in cyber operations. I love it, because many times we don't do a good job of marketing our cybersecurity programs to the business, and to have someone with that discipline that understands how to turn something into a positive and reach people and reach them at their core. And that's how you build, changing in behavior. That's how you build security within your culture. So I look for those different skills. Project management, love it. You want to do project management for security? We need some of that. Security people generally all cut from the same cloth. We like the cool stuff. We like the tools. We just don't like to write it down. Awesome.
Yeah, technical writer. That's a great role that we don't see enough of.
Totally agree. So if there's anyone looking to pivot and change careers, I mean, I think we just gave you some great examples of how you can fit into, well, I won't say fit in, how you can make us better
Yeah.
at what we do within cyber. So it's more, we'll embrace you and help us evolve our discipline and our profession. And you'll have a career path that's limitless.
Awesome. Again, thank you for your time. I know this is very valuable, and especially for viewers who, again, going back to either trying to advance a career or also trying to break into cyber. I think these are clearly very, very valuable tips. Again, thanks for your time, Lamont. Thanks for your time, Josh.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you. Appreciate you.